Are we on the air?
You're now in the mix with The Corner Radio, hosted by Kill, banging nothing but classic hip-hop, soul, and R&B.
What's good, what's good, what's good? Y'all tuned into The Corner Radio, hosted by your man, Cal. I got my hip-hop squad up here in effect with me tonight. I got my brother, Ev. What's going on, fam?
Peace, baby. How you?
Oh, man, everything is good, man. Everything is good. Got my man, Yao. What's good, fam?
Yo, what's going on? How y'all doing?
Oh, man, you know, like we was just talking about, man. Derrick Rose just talking the talk. Got my man, Nick.
Here we go.
What's good, fam?
What's going on? Another day, another day.
All right. Y'all already know what it is. Let's jump right into it, man. The other day, man, I was banging some Sean P, man. I was just like, yo, I miss this dude. Like, for real. Like, I was even playing some P for Baby Girl, you know, as much as I could without all the cursing. But, you know, it was just like, I was like, yo, you got to hear this dude P, you know. And she even be, it's one of them rhymes off Mike Tyson. He'd be like, you know, studied understudied the 120. She be trying to get the rhyme right and everything. But I was just like, yo, I really miss this dude, man. You know, so I was like, you know what, let's just sit down, let's chop it up just about artists and hip hop, not just MCs, but anybody in the hip hop realm that has passed away, and kind of talk about their favorite album, song, memory, whatever like that. And we said we're gonna hold back on the Big and Pac because, you know, everybody's Pac big. They've had magazines, they've had shows themselves about it. We want to give some of the light to some of the other artists who have passed away. I'm interested to hear the list because, you know, me and Eva a little older, Yao and Nick a little younger, so I'm definitely interested to see who falls on whose list. But Ev, why don't you say us off, man? Who's one of your MCs or, you know, hip hop cats from the culture who have passed on?
One of my cats, I'm gonna go back a little bit. Actually, technically before hip hop, but definitely hip hop influence. Dondi. For those that don't know, Dondi is a graph writer from back in like the late 70s, early 80s, I believe. Just like he really like, you know, as far as like getting up, hitting the trains, he really like was one of the big pioneers, and his letter style was crazy. I'm not the biggest, I don't know all the in-depths of when it comes to graph writing, but I'm definitely a fan. And I know that cat is like, you know, when I talk to my graffiti heads, that cat is always like, when they talk about Dondi, they're just like, you know, you see cats just like get this glisten in their eyes, like, man, Dondi, shit. And I know the brother passed early, but I knew like at least one cat that knew him personally. And he won't, it's funny because this cat is a writer, but he won't tell me what he write. He's an old head too, which is funny. But yeah, so that's my first one is Dondi, just someone that has really impacted the culture in as far as graffiti writing in such a positive light. It's been really like, you know, pushing cats to really like, you know, step outside the bounds.
All right. That's what's up. Now, do you have like a favorite Dondi piece or whatever? Or?
I have a favorite Dondi piece. Of course, I can't. I mean, it's one of the train pieces. You know, but I don't have an image or nothing like that to show you, but I do have a favorite piece.
All right. That's what it is. Yeah, who you got up on your list, man?
I think I'd be a travesty if I didn't mention Big L first.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. What else can you say, yo? I mean, he was like the next dude, the next like slick talk rapper that was about to like take over. Like he was in that Cam and that Harlem, Cam and Mace and McGruff, that era, and he was like shining on mixtapes and he was putting out singles. I remember Lifestyles of the Rich. Was it Lifestyles of the Rich and Dangerous? Poor and Dangerous.
Yeah. I
remember that kid. That was like part of my introduction to hip hop as well. I remember when I started boarding school, my roommate Dane, he had the tape. He had Junior Mafia, and he had Bone Thugs, and that was like my like real introduction to like high school. My first year in high school hip hop. But I was just listening to the bars, and I was like, yo, the flow was always like perfection. He was coming with the wittiness, and then, you know, once the time when I heard Ebonics, I mean, and then I heard the story behind Ebonics about him. It taking him 3 years to write the song, and it was that just really amazed me because it just shows how what type of things artists go through. You know what I mean? As far as trying to perfect their craft. Like it took him 3 years to write an entire song, but he made it sound like he wrote it yesterday. And that, I mean, just one of the greatest ever. Reminisce is my favorite song from him. So.
All right, no doubt, no doubt. Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't know it took him 3 years to make.
3 years.
That's what really put me on to L. I mean, of course, I always knew his name, and that first album was cool, but for me, it was the big picture. But Ebonics, man, just the way he was just breaking everything down. And then who was the other joint off of that? God, that joint holding it down. That peak.
Holding it down.
That joint was crazy too. So I mean, Big L, like you said, man, just them freestyles. I don't know if cats peeped that Stretch and Bobbito movie. But, that right there, just his freestyles would be crazy. One of my favorite lines I used to always, when I was a shorty, always want to be able to say, what do you say? We go shopping when the plane lands. No camera. You know what I mean? That's a brag. And that's when you know you ill. You tell a shorty, let's just go on this plane right here. We go shopping when it lands. You know what I mean? We don't pack clothes up here in Harlem or whatever.
Yeah. That's crazy. Crazy.
Yeah, that was dope. You got a favorite memory of dude or whatever? Anything?
I mean, I never seen a show of him, but I mean the freestyle with Jay-Z is one of my moments because it was like, yo, Jay was that dude, and he like, and honestly, it wasn't close. It wasn't close when they were at that radio station spitting together. It wasn't close. Big L had him by far. Jay verse was cool, but L just went to another level. And it's funny because I heard that Big L is the dude who has the footage of the Jay-Z and DMX battle. He's the only person who had the footage of that. That's a story I read, and I was like, yo, how crazy is that? So,
Yeah, that's crazy. My Big L memory, man, I remember I was at the Gavin. Gavin was a magazine back in the late 90s that did like the radio report. And I was at their conference in New Orleans at a show, at one of the showcases, and Serge got on the mic. I think it was Serge got on the mic and was like, yo, you just heard Big L got killed. And it was just like, man, like the whole mood of the show just fell. I mean, it was a dope show. Like Farrell was on there, Black Moon. It was a dope showcase. And this is, of course, 97, 98. You know what I mean? It just like brought the whole room down. Like, damn, it was like, yo, I mean, cats ain't even want to believe it, but yeah, it was definitely, a sad time for hip hop with L. What about you, Nick? Who you got on set?
I'm gonna go back a little bit and sub Roc, KMD.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And more so, cause my introduction to KMD was the what a nigga know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, cause they were on Elektra. The single came out, then the whole label mishaps, cause the album never officially came out. So just the fact that when you hear the album now, you can kind of see the chemistry between him and Zev Love was getting better. He was rhyming more on that album as opposed to the Mr. Hood project. And I mean, dude was 19. He was young as hell when he died.
Look at Nick come through like an old head. Pulling out the KMD, okay.
So yes, I miss him, man. I wish. It's kind of messed up to say because if that didn't happen, then we never get MF Doom.
I was just about to say, like, I think that death transformed.
Exactly. But it would have been cool to see them kind of do more projects together, and then also him to see the love that album gets after the fact. You know what I mean?
Right. All right, no doubt. You got a favorite song from KMD or a favorite memory or anything?
Nah, not really. No, just that Black Bastard album in general. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like one of the hidden gems of hip hop that finally got released. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I think the crazy thing with Sub Roc, get hit by a car.
Yeah.
I mean, like, hip hop, I'm always used to people getting shot.
Exactly.
And I'm like, yo, this dude got hit by a car. People die get hit by cars. Like, not trying to sound like that, but it's just like, I've never known that to happen. So it's just like, wow, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. The first joint I got on tap is Scott LaRock.
Okay.
For younger cats out there who may not know, KRS is in a group called BDP, started by him and Scott. And I think Scott hit me the hardest because I was this 87, so I'm like 13. So I'm really starting to fall in love with hip hop. And at that time, Boogie Down Production and Criminal Minded was my favorite album out. Like, you know, I know Rakim was out and everybody. KRS, that album was my album. Like, that's easily one of my top 10 hip hop albums ever. And you know, I also think, because I was just doing the knowledge on the internet today, and you know, just looking, you know, Wikipedia and stuff. He's the first person, if you like Google deceased MCs or anything like that, he's the first one to come up. So again, of course, I think he may have been the first dude with a record deal or something like that to die. You know what I mean? And I remember I was at my pop's house, and I don't know if I heard it on the radio or how I heard it, but I remember it was August, and I was just like, wow. Like, and then hearing that he got shot, and I mean, for years I blamed D Nice for that, man. You know, because for cats who don't know, you know, D Nice had gotten into something. He had tried to talk to some dude's girl, and Scott had tried to go up there to try to like dead it and make it, you know, piece everything out. And Cat shot at him from the roof. He was in the Jeep, and you know, for years I hated D Nice for that. And it was funny because D Nice was on a Combat Jack show, and he kind of was alluding to the fact that ever since then, KRS kind of felt differently towards him. Almost like KRS may have blamed him too for Scott's death or whatever like that. So, yeah, it's definitely Scott LaRock. I mean, my favorite song, man, Scott LaRock had them all. He's a super hoe, man. You know what I mean? So that joint right there, because cats, again, got to remember, I'm 13. I mean, I'm hearing quotes like, yo, it ain't that Scott LaRock is mean. He'll give you Vaseline. And I'm like, Vaseline for what? You know. What you need Vaseline for? What's going on? You know, but, you know, so it's funny. Really kind of, you know, you know, I'm 13 now, dog. This is long for the internet. And
yeah, no doubt.
You know, there was still an innocence in the hood, you know, at 13, you know. What you say, y'all?
Oh man, I'm sorry, yo. You said Vaseline for what? Oh man, that's gonna live forever. That's gonna live forever. That's a goodie. Oh man.
But yeah, you know, so it was just another thing about that Scott that always kind of stood out for me was, and God, what's that? Y'all know my memory. In Criminal Minded, the song, KRS says, you know, my DJ Scott LaRock got a college degree. Blastmaster KRS writes poetry, and it was like, you know, at that time, again, I'm so impressible by hip hop that it was just like, you know, Scott LaRock went to college, I want to go to college. You know what I mean? And it was just like a time, and we could see the shift of where people were bragging. And I got this interview. I'll try to post it of KRS and Scott, like on maybe you know, one of the radio stations in NY at that time. And Scott was bragging on having a college degree. You know what I'm saying? Because at that time, during the Bridge Wars, a lot of cats don't know the dude from Screwball, and again, name is failing me right now, but he had done like a little diss song to them, and Scott was like, nigga, who are you? I got a college degree. Like, yo, how you gonna try and diss me, my dude? Like, I got a college degree. You know what I mean? And it's like now, you know, rappers wouldn't even want to wear that as a badge of honor no more. So, you know, that's it for me. And again, my favorite album, I mean, Criminal Minded, changed my whole life. You know, and even one of my favorite quotes in Superho was when KRS was like, if you're a guy, 9 will do the trick, but if you're a girl, you need some flowers. You know what I mean? Like, just flipping it like that, and it was just like, yeah, so definitely, man, Scott LaRock. And they did one of those joints on TV One, or one of those like unsolved murders. They actually did an episode on Scott LaRock, you know, and
I think I saw it.
Like to this day, man. I mean, you know, it still gets me kind of in my way, because I'm like, yo, KRS and BDP, like that was it, you know. So that's my dude. Ev, who you got up on your list, bro?
My next at this, usually I will put in one of my best, because I know somebody gonna take it before the show is out, but I gotta say this dude for the end. So because of that, one of my next favorites is Old Dirty, man, Dirt Dog.
Yeah, man.
Dirt Dog. This cat, man, I have an affinity for this dude, man. I just feel like Dirt was not the dopest cat out the Wu, but definitely like my number two. Definitely my number two. Just because he wasn't afraid to be who he was. He didn't necessarily I don't think he necessarily wrote everything. I think some of that stuff was like some Jizza stuff redone. But just the way that Dirt did what he did, I think Return to 36 Chambers is a classic fucking album. Like, classic fucking album. And I don't know if that cat gets enough credit for who he is and what he does. As far as one of my I got a couple favorites of Dirt. Like, it's hard to really pick off that album, but just off, the first thing that comes to mind is probably Stomp. As far as one of the tracks off that album, but it's so many. But I mean, I necessarily agree with everything Dirt said, but one of the shit that I liked was when they did an interview. It was him, Maya, and Cat Prize. And they saw, I think it was like an MTV, I think it's one of the kids shit. And they was like, yeah, this person's doing this for their community, this person's doing that for their community. Oh, Dirty, what you doing for your community? He was like, me? No. But you gotta be honestly agreeing with it. But this shit is hilarious. Like, yo, this cat is really who he is. Like, he's like, I ain't doing that.
Yeah.
Jackson, going home, going to bed. Like, you know what I mean? Just so I give him that, man. I think he possessed a certain spirit that really like fed the Wu. And I feel like since he passed, the Wu is never gonna be the Wu from back then. Because I feel like Dirt just had a certain type of essence, a certain type of spirit that he brought to that table. And there's a lot to be said, I mean, just on the, when the Wu did their next joint, and it was like, which I thought y'all wasn't gonna see me. Like, that shit was still ringing in my head forever. So yeah, that's one of my my top dudes is ODB, Dirt Dog, Baby G. Big Baby G.
Can I add on to that? Because that's one of mine too.
Oh, hell yeah, most definitely.
That's what I think Ev might not have been on that episode when I was talking about the album. Cause I was like, that's a one of one. Like, nobody, like Old Dirty couldn't even repeat that album. It's just like a classic. It's like one of a kind. And to your point about the Old Dirty Bastard, he didn't give a damn to the point where he spit Jizza's same verse on the album later on. Like the rhyme about, I walked up to a jet black kid, he started speaking Spanish. Like, Jizza said that earlier in the album, and then Old Dirty said it like 4 songs later, the same verse.
So, yo, yeah. I just got it. Oh, my bad, Nick.
No, you got it.
I just want to add to that. The way that he recorded that album, to me, was kind of crazy because from what I read, he would come in and just do like a bar and then leave. And then he would come back like 2-3 days later and do another bar and then leave. And I remember Rizzo was like, yo, man, this dude, man, the fuck? Like, we trying to get the album done and he just coming in. But I mean, I feel like, he would just live in it and he would come in and spit it and then go back out and live it. Yeah. So
he was the man.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, the crazy thing about Old Dirty with me, man, and one of the things that, Brooklyn Zoo is just so bonkers, man. Like that beat, the way he just, like you said, whatever Dirk got on, he owned it. It was his. You know what I mean? And then the funniest thing was, back in the 90s, one of the biggest promotion items back then was stickers. And that would be like my thing that I would fiend for. Like, even the studio and the chair I have in my studio now is just full of stickers I've been collecting since '93. And the joint Old Dirty had the sticker, just the welfare cup. You got the album cup. We got the sticker, and it was just like, yo, this nigga's crazy. But like, this may be the dopest sticker I ever seen. Like, yo, I seen some dope stickers in my day, but that Old Dirty sticker is definitely top 5. It's not number 1. It's definitely top 5. And it was just like, we always looking at the sticker like, yo, this nigga is fucking crazy. Like, but like you said, man, it was Old Dirty, man. It was Old Dirty. The craziest thing, and I don't know if this is true, I was just reading this, that Prize was saying for that Ghetto Superstar song, which I hated, by the way, that I guess like Dirty just walked in the wrong studio one day.
Yeah, I saw that.
Recording. Yeah. He wasn't even supposed to be on it. He just walked in the wrong studio and just jumped on his phone.
Yeah.
And
man.
they
But,
kept.
but Prize should thank him for that, because wasn't nobody checking for Prize.
I mean, if you really think about it, if Old Dirty Bastard is not in that song, that joint is a dud. It's an awful song. It's an awful song.
Prize.
Yeah, true indeed. Yeah, man.
I'm gonna go with Christopher Rios, aka Big Pun. That dude.
Hold on. That's not a big echo.
Yeah, I hear it.
Oh, that might be.
We good?
Yeah.
Is it going?
Yeah, Christopher Rios. I'm sorry, Christopher Rios, Big Pun.
Big Pun.
That dude. Okay, he was like the Spanish Biggie / Spanish Heavy D / animal. He was an absolute animal on a track. Like wordplay, flows, and all. Like you know what? Honestly, he probably doesn't get enough credit either because he's a rapper's rapper. He was a true rapper. Like used to fit a lot of words into small space. The first time I ever heard him was on the Beat Nuts joint, and I just like, who is this? And I just couldn't get around it. Like I was like, I had to tape Rap City to make sure it came on and I saw it to hit the record button because I needed to see who it was. And then that first album, Capital Punishment, is an absolute classic record. And he's probably got like 6 songs on the album that I never skip ever on that album. Like when it pops on my shuffle. The joint with I still listen to both deep covers. I listen to deep cover every time it comes on. I never skip it. We're Pun, dog. Like wordplay, flow, cleverness. I wasn't too happy with the second album. I'm pretty sure they put it out just because he probably wasn't even done with it. But you know what I mean. But I mean, there were some joints on there too. You know what I mean. He was a really overly talented rapper, like rapper with like a lot of swag and a lot of wit. You know what I mean? Funny as hell. All the back in the act. Like them interludes are dumb funny too. So like, you know, that one hurt me. I can't lie because he died of a heart attack, and I heard at the time he had been losing weight because at the time at a certain point Pun was looking bad. He was looking really like overweight. I remember I saw him at I was down Powerhouse in '98. And he came out, Fat Joe came out, and he just, for me, I was like, yo, is it me or does he look like huge? He looked like he was like Marshmallow Man status. You know, I was saying that, not that I was worried because I was probably naive to the fact that I just thought he just looked big. And then like a year later, died. And it was just like, damn, like, you know, just that was a difficult one for me to take because I felt like, you know, he really only gave us one great album, and we needed more from him. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Yeah, the crazy thing with Pun is I agree with you. He was like the Latino baby because he could give you, you know, Still Not a Player with Joe, you know, which I love, was an absolute banger. You know what I mean? Radio friendly song and everything, but it's hip hop. And then would turn around and give you, like you said, deep cover, you know, which is hard to spit on because, you know, it's already a classic.
It's already done. Yeah.
Dre and Snoop already made it what it was, you know, so for him to jump on that joint and own it himself, and I always gave Pun props for giving Black Thought his first. I don't know if it's his first, but it was a Black Thought's first major look in a big era. You know what I mean? Like major look for him to be on that album. Right. It wasn't the common sense thought on calm or thought. It was like you know. And I remember Thought saying something to the extent of like salute the Pun for like finally letting, you know, because Starr is always saying, and I agree with it, like, yo, cats don't want me on their songs because they know I'm
for a reason. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, you know, just being able for Pun to be like, nah, come on this joint, let's get it, and then call it super lyrical, just, you know, perfect, man. It's perfect.
Like, so I heard a story about Pun, and this, you know, and this is the thing why I love rap, because I feel like I go through these same things. Like, it says, so, banned from TV, him, Nori, Cam, Kiss, Styles, Nature. Yo, Nori told a story about Pun being like worried, like, yo, damn, yo, fuck, like, I'm not sure if I might get ate up. Like, there's a lot of great rappers on this, and for him to be like, to have that fear of not like having a comparable verse to the rest of the niggas on the verse. And really, I don't know who has the best verse on that song because they're all like great real rap. Every single verse on that song is great on Band for TV. And for me to hear that,
even Nature came through with that.
Nature came through, bro. I get pussy with my father's features.
Right,
what?
That's one of my favorite lines, right?
It's a great opening line, bro. Like a great line in the record. But like for me to hear Pun was like worried about how he would sound against any. That just lets me know that he was a true competitor, a true craftsman, because he was truly trying to have the best verse. He didn't want to get ate up because he was afraid of other niggas. It wasn't like, yo, I'm gonna have the best verse. He was like, no, I gotta have a verse that's comparable. He might have had the best verse for real rap. So Pun, rest in peace.
Yeah, that's crazy. The dude I got up next, man, I'm gonna go with my man J Dilla, man. Dilla to me, man, is like, I mean, come on, Ev, you know what
was gonna happen.
I mean, come on, you
supposed to be last, Kill. You supposed to all come together at the last thing.
You know what?
Last one be the same one.
We ain't talking before the show. See, this is what happened when we don't rehearse, bro. We was ending the show with that song. I thought we set the show off with that song, but I'll go back. I ain't go to rehearsal. That's my bad. You know, I was on my 500. I'm out here gambling while y'all ready for the show. That's my bad. We'll come back.
It's all good.
Nah. We'll end with that because I know, you know, everybody. I'll go with what started this whole thing off. I'll go with my man Sean P. Yo, guy, man. It was like, yo, I don't think cats understand with me. Most people know I like the Boot Camp Clique better than the Wu. You know what I mean? I'm one of the few people who felt that way. I get it. I'm the minority. That's cool.
No. I was with you.
All right. You know, but my thing is that I've always loved the Boot Camp Clique. I always loved Helter Skelter. I won't hold you. During those times, I always liked Rock more than Rock. I think just because Rock had that voice and the scar and everything like that. And, you know, I was over my man Lunch Crib one day, and he was like, yo, man, you heard Sean Price new album? I was like, yo, who's Sean Price? He was like, Rock from Helter Skelter. I'm like, I don't know nigga government name. Like, you were saying it like we went to high school together. So I'm like, Sean Price. Like, he was like, yo, you got to hear this joint Monkey Bars. And I was like, yo, man, I ain't gonna hold you, man. Rock wasn't, to me, the dopest MC out the BCC. So, like, why is you trying to push this down my throat? He was like, yo, it's dope. Just trust me. Yo, I put that Monkey Bars in, and I ain't never looked back since, man. You know what I mean? And then the funny thing is, you know, the comparison of Wu to Boot Camp, I always say, you know, Sean P is like Ghostface.
Yo, I was just about to say the exact same thing. Like, I'm go ahead, you can make your point, but I mean, it's the exact same path. I didn't think Ghostface was gonna be the best rapper in Wu-Tang. I was for sure it was gonna be Meth. And in Boot Camp Club, I was for sure it was going to be like Buckshot. I was for sure that. You know what I mean? But it's amazing how it works out. You know what I mean? Crazy.
So it's just crazy to me, like, the two cats who, in both crews, you would have thought would have been like, you know, whatever. They would have been the ones who lost in the sauce. Actually, ones holding it down for their crew or whatever like that. So, and after Monkey Bars, it was just anything Sean P was on, random acts, you know, with Guilty Simpson and Black Milk, whatever he was on. All you had to do was say, P, I was there. He had his own style. You know, he was just the illest. So, like, when I woke up that Saturday morning, just seen on Twitter, just R.I.P. Sean P, it was just like, yo, man, that's crazy. Like, outside of Big, that was the, like, funeral I wish I could have went to. You know, like, I wish I could, you know, went up to Brooklyn. And I should have done it, man. It's like, those are the things that I look back on, like, man, I should have just spent the money, just went to pay respect, because P, man, and the thing about P for me is he's one of the few MCs of the 90s golden era who could still make dope music in 2016.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, when you really look at that crew of people from 94 or 93 to 97, not too many MCs are going to be making dope music, you know, right now. And P, you know, that song's The Key of Price, man. Oh, my God, the joint that sets that whole thing off is just jumping out the Hasselhoff car. Like, yo, that dude P was just, I would have just loved to see him write rhymes. Like, yo, how do you come up with this? How did you come up with the P and all of that? So for me, my favorite Sean P joint is Monkey Bars put me on to him, but my favorite P album gotta be Mike Tyson. I love
I can add to that too, man. Just on the Sean P thing, like he's one of them MCs that's like that. Even after things happen with the camp, he still like was an MC, like every day, all day. He just embodied that, you know, major, minor, it didn't matter, independent. He just was an MC, and even outside of like his album, just some of the shit that, you know, the little interviews here and there, or little skits he might be doing here and there. He always was an MC, and I just like, you know, really tilt my hat to that cat, because to me he was one of the ones that broke the whole myth, like, oh, you can't get older and be an MC. Like he was just like, you know, that cat's older than me. But he was still like, man, fuck that. I write rhymes. This is what I do. This is who I am. Yeah. So I really, you know, because of that too, man. I really tip my hat to Sean P, man. He was an incredible MC all the way around.
Yeah. And you talk about somebody not caring. You talk about Old Dirty, man. Sean P ain't care about nothing, man. If you look at some of them skits he got on YouTube when he playing tennis and Drew High taking him to the country club. Yeah. You know, like, he don't care about nothing. I forgot what he said, you know, who nice to Sean Carter? Like, nah, Sean P. Yeah. You know, like he said, it wasn't no diss to Jay. It's just like, nah, nigga, I'm nicest. Come on. Yeah. That nigga was just Brownsville, Brooklyn all day. You know what I'm saying? And my favorite thing, if cats get a chance, check out on Vlad TV, Buckshot was giving an interview of just how everything went down with P's death, and how him and Tech, being Muslims, had to clean his body for the funeral and everything. You know, it was just a dope video to kind of hear Buck kind of talk about having how he went to the crib and had to, you know, close his eyes and everything. You know, it was a dope interview to just see. And I mean, you gotta remember boot camp. I mean, God, you know, we going back to '93. You know, so we're talking about cats who've been friends, who've been brothers for 20 plus years. You know what I mean? Probably longer than that. My favorite song is this joint Bully Rap. If Cass never heard it, yo, go to YouTube. I'm gonna just say some of the lyrics because this dude is hilarious to me. This dude said, "You cowards are bogus. Split head like Red Sea power of Moses. Due to my weight gain, I had to double the dosage of drugs that I do. And niggas, I toast the P. Body, palming your bars on. Ruck, keep you stuck with the pom-pom. What? Allah's the best. Allah, Akbar, praise due. Who threw hot rock and cop car off my beam? Red light off the beam, scorched the scene. Niggas try to cross my team." Then the nigga said, "Niggas coming for me." We say, "Hell, I fuck around and throw your baby organ. Use your baby organs just to make a baby organ. I sell dope to your mama, and I ain't even vote for Obama." P. You know? Like, yo, this dude said, I ain't even vote for Obama. Like, yo, I don't care. Yo. P don't care about nothing. P was the dopest, man. And yeah, I know you always talking about the how the raps and how. I mean, what did you think about P? The way he just put stuff together.
Dog, I literally just watched a freestyle the other day, and it was like I can't even think of the line because I was so hyped. I'll pull it up before the end of the night. I'll pull it up to get the line. But I was laughing like shit yesterday, yo. It was like, oh, I can't even think of the line. But yo, another dude. First of all, his ad lib is like one of low key one of the best of all time. Like just a P. You know what I'm saying? Just like it was hard, gritty. You know, like you say, it was so Brownsville. Like he also, I can't think of the bars, but he got like wordplay and like continuous patterns rhymes. Like there's times where you think he's gonna stop and he continues in. Like the line you just said when he was like I'm sorry, I can't think of the line. My bad. There's a reason behind that. I won't disclose that today. But yeah. So I mean, I'm gonna pull a line up that he said the other day that I seen on video. And I'm gonna give you. That's my perfect example of why I fuck with P. So I'll get to y'all in a minute.
And more on P, I think what started P on the route where he ended up. If you go to the Tony Touch album, I want to say from 2000. I'm gonna send you the link. That's where it started. That's where the Sean Price era started. On that song right there.
Yeah.
And the dude had a sense of humor. He was a funny cat. Like if you go back on the first Helter Skelter, he had a skit where he talking about taking Shorty to the Whitney Houston concert. Hilarious, funny.
And the other thing I loved about him was, you know, him just proclaiming, "Yo, I'm the brokest rapper alive." Like he was saying that at the time when everybody was flossing. So that's really what caught my ear. Was like, yo, this dude is like, yo, I'm broke. Like what? Like, yo, I still live in Brooklyn. Like it was just and I forgot the name because people would drop so much music and was so parts of so many different things. But one of the latter videos that came out after he passed, I thought it was real dope because he had his daughter. They had his daughter saying his rhyme.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I forgot what video that was, but I thought that was incredibly dope. I saw something a minute ago. It was Just Blaze. He was spinning somewhere, and they gave Roc's wife the mic, and she like spit his rhyme. So you know, but definitely Sean P, man. I miss that dude, man. I miss real talk. Really miss that dude. Ev, who you got up next, man?
I think, did we skip Nick?
No, you had to ODB, so I just added on to that.
All right, cool. Yeah. All right, my next one. Let me see what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have to go with the Gifted Unlimited Rhymes University.
Ah, I knew it. I knew it.
I gotta go to that cat, man. Guru, man. You know, he may not be my top 5 MC. He might not be in the top 5 category, but I definitely respect his penmanship. And for me, the Hard to Earn album was just like, to me, it was like when people talk about Phife, and it's like, yo, when Low and Theory came out, that was like Phife doing really like getting into himself. To me, not that all the other albums wasn't the one, but it's something like Guru unlocked something on that Hard to Earn album. Yeah, man, I don't know. Actually, I got it right here. I was in Philly, and it was like a joint. It was Guru and Primo was there. I got them cats to sign some shit for me, and as you see, I keep it playing because one, I'm definitely a Gangstar head, but I was a big fan of Guru, man. Like, you know, his rhyme style and who he was and who he chose to be on track. To me, was just like he was always consistent, and you know, I fucks with him. So that was, you know, it's funny because after he passed, one day I was just sitting here and I just started doing like a mix of Guru shit. He has a lot of bangers. Yeah, a lot. Guru is one of them cats. I know, Kill, you said this before. Like, you don't realize how many bangers he had till after he passed. You be like, oh, he killed that song. Oh, he killed that song too. Oh, he killed that. Yeah. So, Gifted Unlimited, Rhymes University.
That's another one of mine right there. Cause like when I got into rap was 91. I was 12. And that was one of the first records I heard. So like my favorite rappers, due to the albums I heard first, was Q-Tip, Guru, Ice Cube, and Large Professor, because that's what I started out with. And the thing that always irks me with Guru is how it ended. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause it was like something was going on between him and Premier. It was like he was like sending subliminal shot. I don't know what went on, and the whole super producer Solar crap. It was just, it's like he didn't get the rest in peace really, because that whole situation was weird.
It was crazy. Yeah.
It's just weird how it ended like that.
Yeah, for me, Guru was one of mine too. I think the funny thing with Guru for me is that for years I used to be like, Guru, he alright. You know, I give him 2.5 mic. You 2.5 mic MC, maybe 3 on a good day. And my man Mills would always be like, yo man, Guru's dope, man. For real, Guru's going up.
Hold on. He said 2.5 mic.
Yeah. I'm with him. I'm with you, Kim.
2.5.
Hold tight.
What was Lil Dap and Malachi?
You can change your side of the story. But Nick, let me explain myself first.
2.5?
I think what it was with Gangstar was, you gotta understand, you know, and Ev knows what I'm talking about. Like, he always talks about when he was MCing, he like Buckshot was his dude. You know, with production, Premier was my like idol. Like, that was it. You know, like, so literally it would be like most people would hear the song together. I didn't even want to hear a Gangstar album for no raps. I just wanted to hear Primo. You know, so for years I would hear Google, but you know what it is? It's almost like you ever just have your TV on and it's just background noise, like you really ain't paying attention to it. And that's no disrespect to Google. That's kind of what I was doing because, you know, it was Primo. You know what I mean? But after he passed was the first time that I started listening to Gangstar and was really hearing Google. Like, not like I've already heard the beat. And I mean, now I look at Guru like, yo, like to me, dude is like a 4 mic MC. You know, I still don't think he may have been the most lyrical assassin out there.
Yeah.
But when you really look at the scope of things with Guru, I heard Guru in 1988 with Words I Manifest. The Owners came out in 2003. It's a long ass time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To be a dope MC, to be on tracks with MOP, Crumb, with a whole bunch of other great MCs at that time, and always hold George. And I always think that he never really got the props for being a dope storyteller, because Guru got some dope storytelling rhymes. You know what I mean? You know, The Planet, Soliloquy of Chaos, All for the Cash, you know, Just to Get a Rep, X Girl to the Next Girl. So yeah, I thought, you know, coming into play, I really thought Guru was real dope. My favorite Guru song, Just to Get a Rep, man. I love that song. That's my favorite Gangstar song right there. Probably because at the time when that dropped, I was dating this shorty out in Nicetown and in Philly. I had to catch 2 trains and a bus out there. And every day that song was playing in my head because it was a wild neighborhood. Like, this is North Philly. So I'm like trooping from uptown to North Philly. And it would just, that, you know, brothers are amused by other brothers' reps just stayed in my head. And then on top of that, the video was just bonkers. You know, like, I felt like that was like a real video. Like, that looked like they just pulled up on the block one day and little dab niggas just got finished robbing somebody. And they was like, yo, y'all want to shoot a video? Like, yeah, come on. You know, so it just set that tone. And my favorite Gangstar album or Guru joint will probably be Daily Operation. Like, I love that joint. The Place Where We Dwell, the way he sets that off. Then truth be told, Joe, a lot of cats will front on him, but that first Jasmine Taz album is a 5 mic classic to me. You know, when that joint came out with Lounging with Donald Byrd and, you know, Dia Davenport, you know, I love that about Guru. I love that about them. Like, they'd be like, yo, we're going to take a break. I'm going to do Jasmine Taz. You do beats for other people, but then we're going to come back together. So, yeah. So, Guru was always, I'm sorry I couldn't stay over there with the 2.5. With you.
I mean, listen, man. Look, man. I got my feelings on that, man. I meant to mention him. I forgot to tell Ev. I meant to mention him during the Overrated show, but I forgot about him, and we got back at it to show you weren't on. Guru was another one for me in the Overrated category, but I'm not gonna go there with y'all. Y'all can have that for the evening. Y'all got it. Let's celebrate him. All right, rest in peace to Guru. You know, rest in peace to Guru.
People say rest in peace after they say overrated. Okay.
Man, God, man.
Hey, man, listen, man. It is what it is.
We gotta get back to this 2.5, because if Guru 2.5, I know you the fan of the Living Proof album. What is Malachi and Little Dap?
Oh, they -5s. They owe me money back.
You are, man. You're rough.
Here's the funny thing. Not to get off topic too much, I don't think Dap was that horrible. I think
Dap was solid.
I think Dap was solid, and he had that ill voice.
I think
you know, he had the ill voice. I guarantee you, take some of them 95 throwaway beats that nobody picked from Primo, put Dap on them. You looking at Living Proof Part 2. Malachi was the dude who was just hard.
Trash.
We all know the story behind that. He was about to go to jail. Keep him out of jail. Primo told the judge, yo, we gonna make an album. So, and that's one thing, another thing I loved about Gangstar. They seem to be really family oriented. Like, they really took care of their crew. You know what I mean? Like, they looked out for each other. So,
there was some weak cats in that crew, because Big Suge was trash. He was trash too. Big Suge was trash.
Jerry was nice.
You know, Big Suge, if Malachi the Nutcracker in your camp.
Jerry was good. Jerry, he was alright. He was good.
All right, let's move on, because we want to go show here. Now, you about to say Jerry was alright. All right, let's Ev, we back. Who's your next person?
Oh, damn, right back.
You know what? We all spun off of Guru from off of you. So, Nick, who's your next person?
He took mine, Guru. He taking mine. He did ODB. Now he done took Guru. I told you, my list short to begin with.
All right, so you done with your list?
I'm almost done.
Right,
I got like a desperate one in the chamber.
we again, just let me remind you, this is the salute show to rappers who are dead, not the who's overrated.
Copy. You took me. Don't be copy. My bad. You know, I got some things to say about that. We're gonna do that for part 2. Anyway, Freaky Ty from Lost Boys.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know. After he passed, it was like never the same. He never rhymed, but it was that extra voice that it's all the same game. That voice, that grittiness, just it gave it like another. It gave these songs like another instrument. You know what I mean? Almost. You know what I'm saying? And like the energy just wasn't there after that. Like, you know what I mean? That was another hurtful one. I listen. I'm from New Jersey, so like when you go through it, like Lost Boys was our shit. Like Let's Cruise Deep in the Bench was like on repeat for like months at a time. You know what I mean? It was like we loved what they were about because it was like I said, like you said, when you see the family aspect of it, you know what I mean? It was really something to watch. Like they seemed like they were really brothers, and it was like Cheeks was the lead man. He was really the only nigga who rapped, but it was like it's me and my boys, and Freaky Ty do the ad libs, and it was like I don't know. That was a hurtful one for me, man. It really was. Like I just feel like even when Cheeks went solo, I was like, damn, a couple of them joints he could have used. Just a little Freaky Ty, just a little energy to make the song better, but you know, Freaky Ty. So
yeah. And the crazy thing about Ty is that you would think, you know, him passing wouldn't affect the group. You know what I mean? But it did, because a lot of times cats would be like, "Oh, well, Freaky Ty ain't rhyme," but like you said, yeah, like just what he brought them ad libs, that energy to the group was, you know, and a lot of times you don't see that until the dude ain't here no more. You know, like, you know, how everybody, like, you know, probably would say, yo, you should go solo, man, whatever. But it's like, nah, man, like, they was a good pair. I say the same thing about Ben Rock with Naughty. You know what I mean? Like, Tretch is always the dude spitting, but I'm like, yo, Ben Rock, like, yo, that dude set off hip hop array.
I don't agree with that one. Tretch could have did without Ben.
What happened?
Tretch could have did without Ben. I don't care for Ben too much.
Okay, all right.
Chill. You gotta chill.
But another thing with Freaky Ty, he died like right after Big L.
Yeah, it
was like back to back.
It was. I want to say it was like 2 weeks apart. Let me see. Hold on. I'll Google it right now. I believe it was like 2 weeks apart.
Real close.
Quick, yeah, real quick.
Yo, on this, why he looking that up? On the side note, man, we gotta do a joint on the hype, man.
Yeah, definitely.
We don't get enough light, and it's some like, to me, Busta's not Busta without Spliff.
No way.
Just
No way.
Yeah,
like that.
Especially the live show. Show. All right, you got anybody else, y'all, or you out of yours too?
So Freaky Ty, and I had Heavy D. You know what I'm saying? Like that one, like I said, all the rappers I mentioned are from New York. You know what I'm saying? They're like very close to like my upbringing as far as like, you know, when I was a child. Like, you know, Hev was just like I said, he followed like the format of like a big nigga that was cool and had like swag, like, you know. I want to say like after I really got into him like when I was writing my first album, and I was writing like the second album to figure out like how to talk to women in rhyme, you know what I mean? What they like, you know, just kind of study his flows and a lot of his bars. Like I was listening to Black Coffee, No Sugar, No Cream like a few weeks ago, just popped in my shuffle, and I was like, yo, this is like it's a genius song, you know what I mean? So I would say Heavy D is probably the fourth guy out of that grade, and after that I'm done.
Yeah, and I definitely had Hev on mine. The thing I loved about Hev was, you know, again, man, this time frame, Hev dropped in like 87 and was still killing the game. You know, that Blue Funk album is just, you know, you know what I mean? A lot of cats, I think for a lot of cats, they will probably always looked at Hev as like, oh yeah, he cool. Like I never knew nobody that was this Hev, but then I knew dudes, you know, regular hood dudes who really ain't rock with Hev. But the thing I loved about Hev is he could give you those Mr. Big stuff, the overweight level, but then he'd give you that you can't see what I can see.
Oh yeah.
He'd give you that who's the man joint.
Who's the man?
You know what I mean? Like, Hev had some bangers out there for the streets. I mean,
he produced too, though.
Yeah.
He produced that Feeling in the Air from Beanie Siegel.
Yeah. I just heard that on Bean's podcast on Tax Season. Have produced on Big's album. You know what I'm saying?
He produced that Nas joint with that Nas joint off of Life Is Good.
Sure it is.
You know what I mean?
The album, man, was not bad. That last one he did, the reggae joint.
I didn't hear it, but I heard it was dope though.
Yeah. So the thing is with Hev, you know, he just had that lifespan. The thing, like, I always said about Hev that I love, like Tip said it on Don't Curse, like the Hev Bubbly D is a favor of my mama. Like everybody likes Heavy D. Like even if your parents didn't like hip hop, they liked Heavy D. It's like, yo, it's like if you don't like Heavy D, something's wrong with you. You know what I mean? Like something's wrong with you. And I always just love the fact that he did the Don't Curse joint. You know what I mean? And brought the Rap and Kane and Pooh-Bah and all these dudes and had fun with it. You know what I mean? The video was dope. I liked how they went from room to room and everybody had their own room. So definitely Hev. And one of the other things that cats may not realize, there was an era in hip hop where everybody had a slow jam. You know what I mean? And Hev to me had the dopest hip hop slow jam. It's called Don't You Know. It was off his first album. If y'all ain't never heard it, Google it. And this was a straight up and down dope slow jam that he had. The other thing I loved about Hev, man, is he was everywhere. Man, the other day I was like, yo, let me pull out my Living Color box set. I totally forgot Hev was the dude who was rhyming on that. Like, I just totally, you'll forget so many places that you've seen Hev, from acting to, you know, and it just, you know, when T said it, like, we listened to the intro, and it's just like, damn, she was like, Hev, you know, like.
Yo, you said your Living Color box set? You talking about the show or the band?
Nah, the show. The Living Color joint, the Keenan Ivory Wayans joint.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Yeah, so you know, you know, Hev was dope, and then to just tie in on that real quick, you know, Troubled T-Roy, man. You know, I remember when he passed, man, and you know, again, y'all, like this is before the internet, so it's like, yo, this wasn't. You're not waking up to no tweet. You're not waking up, you know, to your phone going off. It may have been, again, on the radio, and at this time, hip-hop still only came out on Friday night, so, you know, I forgot how I heard about it, but again, it was just like with the Sub Rock, like, yo, this dude fell, like, you know, off a stage. It's like, damn, like, that's how you, like, wow, like, that's just crazy, and then just seeing, like, what that did, you know, Hev doing the Peaceful Journey album, and, you know, just everything coming from that, and then, I mean, just, you know, Troy's passing turning into, you know, one of the dopest songs ever with they Reminisce over you, with Pete and CL, you know, just showing love. So, you know, that was another death, you know, because again, I was young, and at that time, again, I'm 15, 16. I ain't know nobody who died yet. So you gotta understand, these hip hop dudes is like my heroes, man. Like, you know what I mean? So when they die, it's like, damn, it's like, it's your man dying. So even, you know, T-Roy was just a dancer, it still was like, yo, you know, dude was dope. Ev, you got anybody else left on your list?
Yeah, I got two more. We on four? You want both of them, or you just want one?
Well, do what you do until we do the finale, since I missed rehearsal. So
my number 4 is going to be I got to give it to MCA, man.
Yeah.
MCA, yeah. You know, one of, truth be told, that was probably one of my favorite. Next to BDP, was one of my favorite groups, was Beasties. Their first album, License to Ill, was just nasty. I always respect the MCA because he had the dope voice. Yeah. Even though it was originally a punk band, but you know, they still was, you know, they did a hell of a job. But MCA. Now I heard a rumor, I don't know if this is true, but the rumor I heard was MCA was the cat that invented the blunt. I don't know if that's true or not. I got to do more research, but I remember hearing that back in like the early 90s. Like the whole idea of the blunt actually came from some shit that he did back in the day. I can see it being possible, but I don't know if it's true.
If that's the case, one shout out to MCA.
If that's the case, if it's not the case, then whatever.
Yo, you know what?
But yeah, man. Just, you know, a shout out to MCA. One of the you know, the first, of course, a white boy hip hop. Yeah. But still, like, you know, I think the Beasties just, they really, like, you know, they did their thing and they came in and changed the game and went in their own direction. But to me, MCA was still like that dude, that Lower East Side cat.
And yo, let me jump on the MCA shit real quick. A lot of cats may not notice, but he started diving into the director's game too. And he actually directed one of my favorite documentaries, Gunner for the #1 spot, where they took some of the dopest high school basketball players at the time and took them up to Rucker Park. It was a dope documentary. I mean, you can tell this is years ago. Tyreek Evans, Brandon Jennings, Jared Bayless, Kevin Love, they was all in high school. You got to spend time with each one of them, where they was from. Lance Stevenson, they was out in Coney. So it was just a real dope documentary, and it was just MCA diving into different areas. So he just wasn't dope in the hip hop realm, but definitely dope and getting into that realm too. And then shout out to the Beastie Boys. They put him on the White Castle. So I probably would have never ate White Castle if it wasn't for the Beastie Boys always talking about White Castle. And who else you got, Adam?
My finale?
Oh, you ready for the finale?
Hold on, before we get, I got one before we go to the finale.
All right, who you got, Nick?
Being from the South, I gotta shout out Pimp C.
Oh,
I got to.
Definitely.
Because UGK is very important to us down here. He wasn't the most lyrical cat. You know, Bun B was the lyrical dude, but Pimp C was the attitude. He was the producer too. And you know, when we couldn't get that respect from New York, he was like, all right, cool. We ain't doing hip hop. We doing country rap tunes. And I just always liked his attitude about that. He's like, all right, we don't need y'all to win. I have to mention Pimp C. I have to.
No doubt, no doubt. The crazy thing about Pimp C, and I don't even want to repeat the story because I'm going to get it twisted, but Google this story, Pimp C on recording Jay-Z's Big Pimpin'. Like, even though it was Jay-Z, like, it was like, you know, Pimp C was just not stunning Jay, but it was like, yo, I'm not just going to do whatever because you Jay-Z type thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's why he's not in the video, or they try to do the video later, or just go with the story because I don't want to butcher it, but just reading that, I was like, damn. Like,
no, that's true. Yeah, they had to do his part separate.
Yeah, because he wasn't trying to come. He wasn't trying to come out there. He thought they were going to go pop. And he didn't want to do the song at all. And then exactly. Bun was like, yo, bruh, it's Jay-Z. And they had known each other from back in the day, back when Jay was doing, like, you know, before Reasonable Doubt. They had known each other. They'd been kicked it. But he didn't want to transfer. He didn't want anything to do with commercial music at the time. If Fizz do the song, then he didn't want to do the video because it was out in, I think they were out in Trinidad. But so they shot his part, I think somewhere like either Miami or LA at some point. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then he said he pulled up on set with a Bentley.
Yeah.
And they asked in the movie, he said, I'm not moving my Bentley. I'm not moving this shit. I'm not sure if it was a Bentley or a Benz, whatever the car was. He's like, yo, I'm not moving my shit for nobody. I don't care who it is. Shout out to the pimp. Quit hating the South, my nigga.
Exactly.
That right there, hearing that story, I was like, yo, I rock with Pimp C. That was my kind of right there.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying? But all right, F, so you ready for the finale?
Let's do it.
All right.
Bring it on in, baby. Bring it on in.
Ready with the finale. I missed rehearsal. I didn't know we was doing the show like this. J Dilla. Ev, you get started. I'm gonna pull out.
All right. So this, I'm gonna say it like this. When this cat passed, I've never seen this before, and I still haven't seen it yet. When this cat passed, I don't know who did it, but you know, like the billboards, the big ass billboards you see on the highways or like on the streets. I happened to be in LA when he passed, and I think like either it was crazy, either that day or the next day, they had a big ass billboard that said "Rest in Peace, J Dilla," out in LA. I believe it was on like La Brea. Shit was huge. I remember driving down and I was like, yo, what the fuck is that? It wasn't an album. It wasn't a movie, because that's all you saw on billboards on that time was albums and movies. It wasn't either one of those. It was just a shout out. I don't know who did it. But to me, it was like that was a proper sending. And to me, this is like one of the greatest producer of all time, J Dilla.
All right, and
I'm gonna just leave it on that.
And here's the funny thing with Dilla. Talking with Ev one day for like 2 hours on the phone. Me and this dude used to have like 2-3 hour conversations about hip hop. And he was like, yo, Kill, explain to me why Dilla's so dope. And I talked for like 3 damn hours. And then he was like, well, how come he ain't your number one? And I was like, it's a good damn question, my nigga. Like, damn, I don't know why he ain't my number one. Shit, I guess he is. You know, yo. It's funny what y'all was saying about Big Pun being an MC's MC. I think J Dilla is a producer's producer. You know, when I say J Dilla's my number one, a lot of cats were like, word? Like, he's cool, but I think you got to be a producer to understand some of the sickness that this man is doing. You know, and you'll just listen to it and think like, oh, that's just that. Nah. Dilla's the only producer I know hip-hop. I don't know any other genre like as much as I know hip-hop, who has changed his style completely, because I had a mixtape series called JD versus J Dilla, because they're two totally different producers. Two totally different producers. My knock on JD was always, oh, he just be making them beats for them peace people, the Rudes, Common, Incense niggas. That nigga ain't making nothing for MOP or Ghost or Ray. Next thing you know, here comes J Dilla making joints for Ghost and Ray and MOP. And it was like two totally different styles. And the thing that killed me with Dilla is that people bit both those styles. Like, yo, I'll never forget the first time I heard Jill Scott, they sent me a sample at the radio station. I was like, yo, Jill Scott is dope. And shout out to Dilla finally getting some love, because I didn't know the track credits at that time. So when I got the album, and I'm like, Touch It Jazz, who the fuck are these niggas? Yo, this is the whole album is Dilla. Like, who are these dudes? It was like, oh, this Jazzy Jeff crew. And I'm like, well, Jazzy Jeff crew should be paying Dilla's daughter's college tuition, because, yo, this whole album, music, Just Friends, yo, that whole Touch It Jazz crew is nothing but Dilla knockoffs.
Yeah.
And that ain't no diss. Those are facts. Like, I don't, that's like Just Blaze trying to say, oh, I didn't bite Bink. Yes, you did. Y'all didn't bite Dilla. You know what I mean? And then to switch it, and then for Dilla to be like, you know what, keep it. Like, like, yo, y'all got it. Y'all can have that. I'm going to start doing this J Dilla stuff over there. And then I'm seeing people bite that style too. It was like, yo, I've never seen any producer ever do anything like that. Change their entire, first of all, bring into an entire new way of making beats, because nobody was making beats like JD when JD came out. When I heard Wordplay from Tribe, I was listening to them drums like, yo, what's up with them drums? But that's kind of dope. Then it was funny because I heard it in my man Montez Jeep, and I immediately went in my mom's house in the basement on the ASR 10 and tried to emulate what I just heard. You know, the bass tones that Dilla was using.
Bass tones, crazy.
I mean, so he basically brought in this style and said y'all can have it, and then brought in a whole nother style, which is the Donuts era of Dilla, and then people biting that too. Like, there's and these are facts. I don't argue opinions. These are facts. There's nobody else in hip hop wise that y'all can show me that invented a new style of making beats, then gave it away for niggas for free, and invented a whole nother new style of making beats, and niggas bit that shit too.
Yo, man, if I can add to this, just on a different, slightly different note, the whole J-Lib thing, and this shows how much love this cat had. The J-Lib thing came about because Madlib, who was another one of my favorite producers, Madlib was just rhyming over Dilla beats and just putting it out, like not selling it, but just putting it out. And it got back to Dilla. So I remember Madlib, I think Madlib was telling the story. He was like, yo, he thought when the cat called, he was going to be upset. But instead, J. Cole was like, yo, let's just do an album together. Like, let's not do that. just not just take my beats and rhyme over. Let's just do, you rhyme over all my shit, you do a bunch of tracks, I'm going to rhyme over your shit. And then we're just going to put an album out. And to me, that just shows, like, where that cat's mind and where his heart was at when it came to the music. Just incredible. Incredible dude.
Yeah, I could go on for hours on Dilla. So you got something to say, V?
You the producer, so I knew you was gonna. Like, my favorite is the stuff he did on the Far Side, because that's when I first heard him on the Lab Cab in California. And I was a cat to read the credits. Who the fuck is JD? This nigga killing this album, like. Cause they had the first album, it was J Swift.
Yeah.
So I assumed that it was him right away. He wasn't nowhere on the album. Like, this JD cat just killed their album. Like, I don't know who he is. And then when I found out that Tip had snatched him up, I was like, okay, I see what's up.
And the funny thing about that Tip story, and again, this is the education part for cats who are producers out there. It's very hard, because keep in mind, at that point in time, Q-Tip is one of the best producers in the game.
Mm-hmm.
He's coming off of doing Mobb Deep stuff. He's coming off of doing, One Love. He's coming off of doing The World Is Yours remix. For him to hear another producer and say, yo, let me bring you it, like, yo, I got to snatch you up. Like, that says something right there. Like, just how dope this dude is, because most dudes would be scared of that. Like, yo, get this dude away from there. Like, yo, nah. He like, nah, come in, and then I mean, the stakes is high for Dayline. Like,
yeah.
Like, just the stuff that JD was doing, man, is just And then, like I said,
2 tracks on Mad Skills album.
yeah.
2 tracks on there too. And the funny thing about the Far Side is that they came to work with Q-Tip. And for whatever reason, it's like, I can't do it right now. Y'all need to link up with my guy, JD. So that was like a blessing in disguise.
I didn't even know that. That's deep.
Yeah. So, you know, and then, I mean, you got to look at the UMA credits and, you know, then Jay getting away from the UMA because he was like, look, every time people see produced by the UMA, they think Q-Tip. You know, because I remember the first time I really even heard of JD. I don't know if it's heard or seen. It was in a Vibe article back in Vibe magazine. There was a picture of JD, Q-Tip, and Ali, and I'm like, yo, that ain't Fife. Who's this dude? You know, and then they was talking about the UMA, you know, or whatever like that. So it's like anytime somebody see the UMA, they gonna think it's produced by Tip. So that's why he broke away and started his Payday production. Like, nah, nigga, it's me. You know what I mean? And the stuff he did for comments like Water for Chocolate, like
hey, listen, that right there was my true introduction to JD. My true introduction, because I mean, as a youngin, I mean, I used to be in the credits, but I wasn't into producers. I wanted to know who was writing. You know what I'm saying? But I just had the music on there was just so like. The beats were just so hip hop, but it was just like he was adding like African drums in here, and he was adding like different drums throughout the skits.
Besides an example, Fela, who does that? Who was like?
I mean, everything. Like, listen, I'm African. I've been hearing Fela my whole childhood. You know what I'm saying? Like in different places, and I'm just like, yo, wait a minute. That should bug me out at first. I was like, wait a minute. I've heard this song before. What is this? You know what I'm saying? Like crazy. I just couldn't believe. Like I said, yo, I'm always been a fan of Common, but that album is my favorite Common album. It's my favorite one. I've misplaced the album or lent it to people, and I've bought it like the CD like 4 times. Yeah. That album. That's how serious it was for me. It's I probably say it's probably my top 10 albums as far as my favorite albums of all time. Easily.
Yeah. I mean, the joints on there, Erroneous, Funky Feel.
Cool, man.
Oh man, Payback is a grandmother. Like the joints, you know, and again that's still the JD, and I gotta do my mix again of that JD versus J Dilla, so people could really see
the difference,
understand what we're talking about. The joints he did for Common on Beat, or It's Your World, and The Love Is. I mean, I can't say enough. I mean, I've got Dilla everything. I mean, from this joint, you know, to the joint I blessed with the joint right here.
Yo, can I talk about that real fast?
Yeah, most definitely.
That album right there, that actual record is one that I say Uncle Kill on this one. Uncle Kill got from my son. He's only 10 months right now, and I can't wait to get that joint to him when he's ready, when he can handle it. His first record is the Dilla joint from Uncle Kill. That's how serious that cat is too.
Yeah, hell yeah. And the funny thing is, because I don't like giving, when I got hip hop dudes in my circle like that, I don't want to give no onesie and no, you know. I'm like, if you hip hop, I'm passing along the culture to the next generation. So it's like, and I came to the crib with the record, and Evan, his wife, was like, "Yo, you sure you want?" I'm like, "Hell yeah!" Like that.
Yeah,
that's nothing. That's nothing right there.
To this day, Vic still feels some kind of way about that shit. Vic's like, damn. Because Vic gave him a Wu-Tang onesie. And Kill came with the joint, and Vic is like, this motherfucker, man, wait till his 1-year-old birthday. I'm going to do something. Like, don't y'all start that shit with this dude, man.
Yeah. Coachy's going to make out like a fat rat with hip-hop stuff. But, yeah, man, it's just, like I said, I can go on and on and on. And the one thing about Dilla, and I always tell people this, and speaking of Vic, he had said, yo, Kill, one day I'm going to just take a whole summer and just listen to Pete Rock, Primo, and Dylan, just try and find out who's the best. And I was like, nigga, you don't really gotta take a whole summer. I mean, I come over your crib, give me a couple of hours, you know, because the one thing about Dilla is that Dilla changed the way that jazz musicians play their music. Now, for people who really don't get music, jazz musicians are probably the most snobbish musicians there are because they're classically trained. Most people, you can hear people say, oh, I taught myself how to play the drums. I taught myself. Not jazz. Like, jazz is usually like you've learned, you've studied, and you've done all this. Look up Chris Daddy Dave. Look up Questlove. Look them up when they want Robert Glasper, when they want to talk about Dilla. So when you can have a hip hop producer influencing jazz artists, like, again, for people who don't get it, they might not get that, but It's almost like, you know, that's like, it's like Goodwill Hunting. I don't know if y'all saw that, but it's like when Matt Damon's character could just solve the math problems like it was nothing, you know, and the teachers at the school are like, yo, what, you know, that's what the equivalent of what Dilla was doing with jazz. And I mean, I've been to a couple of different jazz spots. They all have a Dilla set. These dudes all have a Dilla set. I went to see Kenneth Whalen III, did a Dilla set. I went to see, I forgot the name of this jazz group, Dilla set. I mean, Jack, I'm telling y'all, JD, man, I can't say enough about it.
The fact that you got Miguel Atwood Ferguson, who is like a classically trained conductor, and he does a whole Dilla album.
Yeah,
That's ridiculous. And I remember, that shit is just,
Yo, I tell you, Raphael Sadiq in that nigga studio on his mixboard, he got a picture of James Brown and J Dilla.
Yeah, Raphael Sadiq bad too.
That's crazy.
I mean, come on. You know, Raphael Sadiq is one of the illest in the game, and you got James Brown and J Dilla. You know, so again, and the one thing I'll say this too, and I'll end with this because, like I said, I could go on for hours. I already have, but my man Roots used to do a show at the radio station at Morgan called Milk Crates. He played the original, then played with you sample. The bulk of every hip hop producer, for the most part, if you play the record, you're gonna instantly hear, "Oh, that's such and such." Dilla and Primo are the only two producers who you're not able to do that to. People come over my crib, I put the needle down, and they're like, "What was that?" Well, it was like 2 seconds. And I'm like, "Oh, that's I Gave You Power" by Nas. And they're like, what? What do you, like, I didn't even hear it. Bring it back. You got to play it numerous times. Same thing with Dilla. Like, Dilla and Primo, and that's why they're my ones and twos, and they go back and forth. Same way with Isaiah and Iverson. One day my favorite's Isaiah, one day is Iverson, one day is Dilla, one day is Primo. But those are the only two producers that you got to do that to. You can't just needle drop with Dilla and be like, oh, I heard that. I mean, you want to talk about Comm's joint? Doing it. No idea that was Rick James. Give it to me.
What?
And Dilla taking, I think Quest said it was like, because they would throw like challenges at dude, like, yo, here, dude, make something off of Rick James, give it to me. And then it end up becoming Comm's doing it. But if you listen to the bass on Doing It and listen to Give It to Me, you'll hear how he took the bass notes and how he flipped it. Like, and that's the stuff that just, I can't, you give it to me. I'm not going to sit there. My brain just doesn't work.
Register that.
Like, Dilla's brain worked in another way where you could play something for him, and instead of thinking about how can I use it, he's thinking about how can I recreate the whole damn song. Like, his brain just went, his elevator went up another level than most people. And I think it was Mad Lib, but they said, yo, after Dilla died, everybody was kind of like, what's next?
Yeah.
Like,
it was extraterrestrial, man.
Yeah, we all looked at Dilla to kind of lead the way and tell us which way this production, like what we doing, and he's gone. So we really don't know which way to go, you know. And I mean, we say it with Big, and you know, when we hear music, we're like, man, if Big was alive, it wouldn't even be like this, or you know, with the injustice that's going on and nobody talking about it. And I'm like, yo, if Pac was alive, this wouldn't be going on. I think music would be a lot better if Dilla was still alive, you know, for real. But that's it for this show. You know, we done talked about Dilla forever, but yo, I appreciate y'all. We gonna do a show again. I see you got some more overhyped things that you need to get off your chest. So,
I want to be back for that show.
Okay. Part two. Let's part two. I'm with it. Let's get it. Let's get it.
Yeah, we get that joint in. I'll give them all your information for you. Yo, did you ever find that Sean P line you was talking about?
Oh, he says So he's starting around. He was like, I truck shit. Then he goes, Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing. Then he stops and he looks around and he goes back into his round. I'm like, yo, you an asshole for that, complete asshole, right? And then the other line he said in there was like, he was like, oh, you top 5, I'm Top Gun. A lot of niggas always get shot, but not son. And I was like, yo, hard bars, yo. You're like, you can't deny that type of shit. You know what I mean? That's like a Brooklyn nigga bar, like in every sense of it. Like, yo, not son. And the first nigga who said something, at least from when I was coming up. So, rest in peace to Sean P. Yo. Yeah. Hey, so my info. Yao Music, Twitter, Instagram. I'm gonna start tweeting more. I've been cheating on Twitter with other social networks. I'm about to get back on shortly. I promise y'all. I feel like debating again. So Instagram, Snapchat. I'm starting to get nice at Snapchat. It's a little bothersome. Too old to be snapping, but there's that. And just hit me up on any of them networks and we can chat. Holla at me.
No doubt. Ev, your Twitter?
Come on, man. You know I don't be on that shit, man. Look, you all the haters. Twitter handles Mental151.
Yeah, that's
Contact me. Hit me up.
Every time I say something, I get hate now. I'm sending them your way because you don't check.
Send them my way. I don't give a shit. I might, you know what? I might start talking if I start getting some hate mail. I'm like, okay, I got a reason. Now, right now, just like, you know, I'm not a tweeter. I don't tweet. But
Nick, what's your joint?
Only one way to win, 79. That's only the number one way, the number two, WYNN, 79.
I'm telling you, man, y'all gotta jump on. Me and Nick be doing our song of the day every day with a group of dudes. We learn about new music every day, man. Y'all gotta jump on, man.
Listen, I'm back on it this week, yo. I'm back on Twitter this coming week. I'm back in.
Ev.
I'm gonna let you.
Once a week, Ev. Once a week.
Once a week. All right. You know what? Song of the day. I'll come on for song of the day. I might throw a little shit too, just because.
And start tagging them on it.
Yeah, Nick be schooling me to so much music, man. It's impossible because the
tag me on it.
What happened?
Tag me on it. I'll respond.
All right, no doubt. You already know what it is with me. Kill889 on Twitter. We'll make beats for food. I'll check y'all next week, y'all.
Peace.